I'll tell you what they're saying, and then I'll get into other things. Usually, I try to tell you what I want to say so I don't forget it, and then I go to what they're saying. I've been trying to remember a lot recently, so I think I'm going to tell you what they're talking about. I just did a video because they were like, "You're gonna do a video on your leg," and I was because I want to keep you updating. It doesn't look better to me when I did it with the tea tree oil and it cleared. It looked better, but I kind of I'm going to go into their admission in a moment, but I'm kind of realizing that I just have to keep trying things to figure out what's going on. To me, my legs still look pretty bad and I'm still getting swelling. Um the Aquaphor did clear up the last thing, but it didn't to me clear it up as well as the tea tree oil. So I'm going back to the tea tree oil. So what they were saying is that inflammation could cause eczema, but this to me wasn't eczema. They also talked about they're really upset that I'm talking about anti-heterosexuality. But they said, maybe it's because in terms of as being a black woman. But what I said in the video yesterday was that it's not just in terms of being a black woman, it's in terms of being a woman and them feeling that we have some sort of advantage. And that's what I'm saying, that if everything I do is you're going to think you're better than me. You have an advantage over me. You're uh what was the other thing about me as a woman? It's like, "Oh, you think you're better than me. You sound like you're bragging. You shouldn't keep talking about, oh, they just said something about Catholic school." Then that's irrational. Since when do black women have an advantage? And when they keep talking about these really limited situations where I may have an advantage, it's like they're upset about even that. Like, if because as a black woman, someone may say, "Oh, you're a black woman, so they won't do this or that to you." They're upset by that. So it's so strange to me how irrational. We know the disadvantages black women have, but they can look at the tiny little advantage we may have and get upset by it. So what I'm explaining is this isn't the way I think. I think that's irrational. They keep saying that I always wear out my welcome. I wish I had in dealing with them because they're still around. The sad part is that they said they don't have a when what did they say? Let me see if I can listen to them. Something along they don't have consistency in relationships. I did, and they said they acknowledged that I did, and I still do. And part of what I'm explaining is why I'm thinking why I think they admit these things. I think they said it was about, boosting their ego. But I think it's something worse. It's about they said I can't I can't get what they're saying. I think it's something worse. Why they admit they don't have consistency in relationships, you know, my leg doesn't look better. I'm using my heterosexuality to take advantage of people or to give myself an advantage. It's because that is who they are. And I think they're admitting it to kind of, they said earlier, to get an excuse for their behavior. But I think it's something worse. I think they, in order to feel comfortable about who they are, they put that onto other people. So they just yelled something. So my heterosexuality means that I have an advantage. They probably use their heterosexuality or sexuality period to get an advantage. My sickness means that I'm going to I can't, I'm getting thrown off. This is why I try to start with what I have to say first because they just keep talking. I think, what you're seeing me do is, I think, what most victims do. We, when we're being victimized, we start to think we can think like the predator. In some ways we can, in some ways we can't. I think the predator will say a lot of things, and we can say, well, why are they saying that? But I think there's something that's in their thought process, I'll say, that we can't really relate to. And I said, this is what I just got to just say, this is why this is going this way. When I start out with what I have to say, they then can't keep inserting things because I'm kind of going off on my own thoughts and they don't have those thoughts. But when I start with what they've been talking about, then they keep inserting things because that was what they thought I would talk about and that's what they planned. So it's like I'm going along with the plan of talking about them. But that's also something very unique about these people. Regular people, we don't tend to want people to always talk about us. I think that's why it bothers us more. But they don't care. They just want you to talk about them. And it doesn't matter with the topic, it's just you giving them your attention. And that's part of what I'm saying. It's like I would have to give them all my attention all the time or else. And when you're dealing with that and you're dealing with your own illnesses in your own life, it's hard. I think what why they admit these things is just so that not just to get my opinion of it, but so that they can figure out, okay, I won't admit that the next time. And that's how they can manipulate their next victim. So it's like, oh, I admitted this, that didn't work. Okay, don't admit that the next time. They said, well, that's why I'm documenting it. Yes, but also I'm documenting it because as I'm trying to express why they're doing these things, they said I should say why I think they're doing these things. But some of the things that they do, I